Hello, good people of America or wherever y'all at, whatever y'all may dwell of y'all humble abode. This is the gaming adventures and lessons of Diamond Welch. I have two special guests with me who play in the One World by Night circuit. They play different genres. I'm going to introduce them off to you before we get into our main
And
topic and a
lessons
bunch
of
of
Diamond
various
Welch. I
topic.
have two.
Topic will be and the topic will be the hyping of event games. And I will pass it off to my two special guests, Dylan Thomas. If you mind starting things off right quick, introducing yourself and what character you play.
I don't want to go by a character name. I'm going to go by my people name. I am Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to meet all of you. Um, I feel that event games just need better coverage, better spread. Um, not via Facebook or anything, but more people traveling to other games to rebuild the network that is and was and will be One World by Night. It's what sets us apart from the other gaming organizations. It is easier for us, I feel, to travel and intermingle than the others. Less paperwork, less hassle. That would be my brief opening input.
Uh, PJ. Uh,
Okay, my name's PJ. I've been playing in One World since 2004. And my whole thing about specifically the event games is we have pretty much event games for every month, doubling up some months. And there's so much, just like we saw with the Sabat event game, crossing over into other people's area, like Kubla Khan and Beltane and EC were all planned for the same time because there's no coordinating what's going on. And I think we would have less trouble with these if instead of each game trying to throw out its own event game, we did more regional event games where, the ST staffs of several games come together and try to put on one big event game and just like divvy out the duties. But we can go more into that when we go into that topic.
Do we have any regions specifically that get along so well? Like the idea of globalized house rules always gets brought up when you talk about a regional game, and that spooks people. That would be my concern.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Like, I don't know. I think that there are probably a lot of the games that we have right now that are in close proximity to other games are boycott games or splinter games from people who don't get along. But as adults who theoretically run this game, you should be able to set aside your differences for a limited amount of time because all the event planning doesn't need to be done in person. You don't need to be buddy-buddy. You don't have to hold hands and do kumbaya. You need to assign duties to people. Like, EC is going to be done by Panda's Playground, and a lot of people come and help Holly, but it would be different if there were games in her area who all came together and she could be like, okay, well, you guys are going to do this part of the scenery and you guys can, or talk about who could do the best part of which of it instead of her just being the person who pushes through it for months and then puts on a cool event game.
Yeah, I do got a vampire based in her game. She is a brilliant storyteller along with Kevin Wilhite and Michael Upsharsky, both brilliant storytellers. And I feel like I agree with you on that one, PJ, that people should come more together, like the local Sabat games or whatever games, to come help out and make sure the event be pulled off without a hitch and stuff instead of it being like a whole wide thing. I think I'm getting that correct. You can correct me, but I
Right.
see where you're coming from.
My thing is individual games get burned out by doing their event games because they're so difficult and you're basically, you get help from your players but less from games. And if, like, say Columbus Grand Elysium was also hosted by Cincinnati and Dayton, they would have a less of a load to bear and then they could use more resources to get it done. That's my opinion, and I could be wrong.
I mean, it's a
I
very
know
interesting
Guru
game.
does this for Equinox every year.
Right.
Guru is an
Mhm.
assemblage of ST stabs from the Illinois region.
And that's super smart. That is super smart. And I would like to see that come more from, more games that are trying to do event games. Like my game hasn't done an event game in 7 years, probably. We did one time. The ST staff got overwhelmed. They said it was fun, but we're not going to do this again. Springfield has done like one event game in like 10 years or something. There could be a more stable one to go on if we could all get on the same page, but who knows where that is, because like I said, a lot of these games are boycott games where I didn't like how this ST ran this and they said vote with your feet, so I did. I went and made my own game, and now this game has 15 players and that game has 20 instead of the old game that had 35 or 40.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
what
basically,
happened to the org
Splinter.
while I was gone.
Yeah. But I also think... Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. It sounds like to me, the way you was describing it is that some people didn't like the way things was going, so they basically made Splinter games off of yours, and now you just split, like the community is split basically where you at.
No,
That's what
this actually has less to do with my area, honestly, and it has more to do with Ohio. Ohio has this problem.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that is true.
This is not in our... I mean, our area has its own issues, and there are people who won't go to certain games because they disagree with how things were ran for one reason or another. But we don't have a whole lot of Splinter games. Let's see here. I was also going to talk about... no, I already did that. Distribution of work. Yeah. So, like, I think that there needs to be someone who, probably the marketing coordinator, next go around whenever they are elected, needs to put a subcourt, or they need to be in charge of keeping up with when events are going on to try to cut down on the overlap. Like, I mean, KublaCon, while it does have a big pull throughout the org, I feel like that's less damaging to Beltane. Like, they're going on at the same time, but Beltane is very East Coast one, and KublaCon is very West Coast. Yeah. So, I mean, there are some people that are going to be upset that both are going on at the same time, but I really think that it probably hurts them very little to do theirs at the same time. But, if you have like one event that's going on in Columbus and someone plans one in Chicago at the same time, that's just going to hurt attendance.
Yeah. That's a doozy right in there. I actually got an interesting question thrown at me just a few minutes ago. It says, "What do I see as a new One World by Nighter?" Do y'all want my honest opinion what I see?
Yeah, from your point of view, you've got a really fresh look on it without, like, you're not jaded yet. You don't have favorites. Mm-hmm. You haven't been through the org a few times, and, you don't have opinions yet. Like, very strong opinions about regions.
I can't see that there's a point in not having your honest opinion.
No, yeah. Well, like, my main thing is I started, One World by Night and Vampire. I made my character. My first character was a gangrel called Leon the Lion Man, and I guess I made a few waves with him. I was loudmouth. I was, always in the thick of things, always trying to do stuff. It was just my charisma and stuff. But then I got tired of the character due to not having things to motivate me to keep playing this character. Mm-hmm. And during the half of that time when I started playing Silverclaws, I noticed that I was getting more goals set up for that character, and I started falling in love with Werewolf more better. But it was one of the things that I felt like if you had a big sheet in Vampire, you ruled basically. Um, no matter how much crap you talk, no matter how much smack you talk, you got smacked down or told that you couldn't do anything. Kind of felt lost at that point with Leon. Just decided not. It wasn't the ST's fault at all. It was players.
Okay,
So
if I can let you know something,
mhm,
I've been outed a couple times, so I don't really mind to say this, but I play
mhm,
Augustus the Monster, who is the leader of
mhm,
the Panda Movement faction.
mhm,
My PC is is as old as the EC games are. Every EC is like my marker of another year that I've been playing my character.
mhm,
And my first year as like a 60 to 90 point character or whatever, because I started in January of that year, but I just count the years as EC. I became head of security by sheer force of personality. And every year I've just played him, and I've always just played him as a hard ass. And people didn't know who he was, and they backed down. So I've had a different experience, and maybe it's just because I've been role playing for so long. I know how to role play big dog, big nuts. But like I had the exact opposite experience, at least in Sabat. Everybody was worried about what kind of weird thing I would do to them, so they kind of like backed down. But I'm not a new player, and I've been around the block so many times that I guess
mhm.
maybe I have a reputation or something.
Oh, you hate everybody too. It's okay.
Um.
I don't hate anybody.
Well, I mean, yeah, I can totally get that. I can totally stand by that. That you came in as the big dog, and everybody just was like, "Nah, bro, we ain't dealing with that right now." And
Right.
I can respect that. I can respect that a lot. You know, it's just that I kind of lost touch with the character. But I mean, I do like One World by Night. I do like it a lot. Certain things that's going on. I really hate politics, but we need politics, in the org to be able to keep it stable. But regardless, I'm gonna still be a One World by Nighter, even though if stuff do hit the fan.
Why do we need the dirty politic though?
Yeah.
I almost I tried.
Mm.
No. I don't disagree with you. I'm not big on the dirty politicking and the need to do what some people do to play the game. Like I was in a situation where my character was being forcibly GNC'd. And if I did not accept the GNC on my character, we were basically my chronicle was threatened with strikes and stuff, even though anyone was allowed to come at me who wanted to. I sacrificed my character to not have the politics affect my game. I wasn't the ST. I was just a player. When I say my game, I was just a player in the game. But yeah, I mean, the politics will always be there, and like sometimes you gotta bow out to do what's better for your people. My STs were really upset. They wanted to keep fighting for me, but I told them to let it go. It's not fair, and it's not a good part of the game. But I don't know of any organization that doesn't have politics. That's what I'll say on that.
Yeah, that is true. He was totally true about that. I'm just a person who just, I don't know. I feel like the politics should come in when you're trying to, hype up an event game and try to, come together as a conglomerate, trying to understand how do we make this game great. How do we make this game greater than the last? It should always be, making sure you can improve on something. That's I wish I could see.
It's about making Obi-Wan great again. That is what
Exactly.
Making Obi-Wan great again. That's what this comes down to.
Right, sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, but when there's politics, there's agendas, because we're people and we're not perfect. but I don't run for coordinator positions, and I don't run for authority because I don't want to deal with that.
Don't even
Yeah,
jokingly run for a coordinator position, because seriously, those fucking bastards, they will vote you in. You could have the definition of trolling as your introduction to your application, and they will vote you in. They will think it's funny.
Yeah, I'm not ready for that kind of commitment.
Right, bastards.
Yeah.
So
PJ, you can go ahead.
okay, so I was just going to go ahead and move to the next topic about new player investment. What has kept you in as a new player? What's kept you in for a year? What made you want to come back and keep doing this imaginary supernatural creature thing you do?
Well, what kept me going is the people who I meet and the people who I interact with. I feel like just meeting these people and understanding these people, I'm learning something new every day, and just learning about the genre that I'm playing in at the time. I've come to enjoy werewolf a lot. I mean, I like vampire. Werewolf is my number one genre. I love the whole genre as it is, and I just like the people who I meet in both genres, and it keeps me going, and it keeps me interested on the RP, be it be social or be it be combat. It keeps me coming back and wanting more.
All right. So on the flip side, Dylan, you ugly jaded bastard, why do you still play this game since '96?
Oh, I stopped for a while because I stopped and I wanted a break, and I came back because a whole bunch of my friends were like, "You should come play again." And now I play to travel and see people and hang out with old friends. It's more an effort of love for my friends than the game at this point. But I still have fun. It's a hoot. I get to play something I truly enjoy playing across multiple genres and multiple spectrums, and it's exciting and fun.
Sure.
I regret nothing.
So then, Diamond previously had brought up that he has seen a loss of players due to a lack of, let's say, agency in the game. People don't want to stay as smaller characters because they don't believe they affect the game that they're in. Or if they were to try to do anything in the game, they'd get their dick pushed inside them.
So it's not about big movements. It's about small movements, and then small movements in other games that other people don't know you're making. You can move any tile on the board as long as no one sees you move it on LARP. You need to remember that. If you keep that focus, you will be fine. If you could keep that focus, you'd be set. One little piece at a time, and then you just move everything at once.
Short power moves.
Yeah, and I am the kind of person, just naturally, I have a big personality, and I'm not a small guy, I guess, also, it kind of helps. But I naturally, just whatever I play, I generally swing nuts and try to play up like I'm a badass, because that's the kind of game that I enjoy playing. Even if I'm not the biggest, and maybe it's the people in my area are also good role players, and they don't take the fact that if I make something brand new, that they know that it's a brand new vampire or whatever I'm playing. So generally, people will, wait to probe out my character. And then, I also think it's important to help people when they make their characters, to help them be good at one thing. Like, they don't have to be like great or even like moderately good at everything they can do. But if you just help them build a sheet that does one thing really well that a lot of people at game don't focus on, they're going to be relevant.
So as long as they answer the "what is your job" question, if they can answer, "Oh, I do this. This is my purpose in society," they're set, in your opinion.
In my opinion, yeah. I think it will help them go farther, and they will have more enjoyment because they'll be like, if your game, I mean, which this usually is not the case, but if your game is light on seers and, you make them something that the STs can use to drop as plot monkey to hook them into things that people are ignoring, their character will be relevant. Or if you're in a socio-political game and you have almost no combat characters, also not super likely, but if you are, if they come in as a hitter, even if it's like, a 13th gen Bruja with a whole bunch of potents, like if your game's very socio-political and you just have that guy out there smoking people's ghouls, they'll be relevant. It's all about making someone who does something and doesn't just want to sit around. And like, I feel like I've seen people help people make characters and they try to be like, well, this is a retest for this power and this is a retest for this power. Forget that. Like they're not.
You can incorporate that still, though. I believe you
Right.
can totally incorporate the cheesy wonk stuff, but they got to have a good foundation.
Yes, they have
like
to.
You're building them a foundation, which is what matters.
Right. But I think it's, to me, I guess the foundation of a character is somewhat important. Like the retest, the traits, all that is good and that is important. But making sure that they have something marketable to the game will make them have more fun. Or, also helping them build in-game tie-ins to people that won't just leave them behind. Yeah. If they're trying to build a socio-political character and you're like, oh, this is my buddy Diamond, he only plays combat characters, you'll have a lot of fun. You're not helping them. Diamond wants to go hit things in the face, and this guy really wants to try to get into the political game. Like, you are not helping that person. You're giving them an in-game connection, but you're not actually helping them. You have to have forethought.
Especially if it's me, because I'm always gonna be heavy hitter, like no matter what, because that's just who I am.
You just gotta slow your roll. Come on. every chat we hear you in is, I'm gonna roll this. I'm gonna step up to that. Machiavellian, man. Come on,
well, with my Fiona rune and my Galliard that I got now, I'm gonna play the slow power game. Like I'm not power, like just power moves. Like just take it one step at a time instead of like going full throttle.
Your like Fiona rune and your Galliard rune.
Oh, nah.
Hear that right? Galliard rune.
You know
right,
what?
Right.
You might as well call them that.
Yep. See,
you might as well call them that.
You gotta move on to like a Philodox to experiment for a while. It would do you well. Someone with an inability to be angry. You should try that concept.
That's something. All right, I know we don't have this on the list, but I figure I'd bring this up.
Do whatever.
In your guys' opinion, how dirty or offensive or however you want to take it is the word power gamer?
It's like any other word people throw around. As long as I'm not cheating, as long as I'm not metagaming and intentionally making people's nights suck, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a dick.
At the end of the day, people like power gaming. I guess it gets to when you start interfering in a lot of people. So I guess people like to throw it around. But if you want to build your character to have like survivability, I guess that's when power gaming comes into play. But I don't. Like, I understand the term, but I don't really get it. I guess people want to build their sheet to its full potential, and even though the potential yet, but people think power game will do that. But I don't know. I guess it's another term that gamers made for people who just come out the door balling or something. That's my
could also be bad because you steal the thunder from all the new characters.
Right. Yep.
Like, say you're laying out an entire football field worth of bad guys around. I'm not pointing fingers here. I'm just saying, suppose you're the guy that does that. I mean, the guy that does that's very controlled about when he did that, past tense. But, ooh.
Oh wow.
That must have sucked as for low point people because they're all like,
Ah,
"Oh, I got my little bad guy." No, I don't. He is stuck to the
yeah.
ground and dead.
Oh, that's terrible. Not that's kind of terrible a little bit. You going
He's
with this shit?
responsible with his power, like Peter Parker is with the Spider-Man stuff. It's good. I'm not
Hey, but
bagging on him.
Right. No.
but
I am one of those dudes. I have been that guy. I played the same character for 11 years. All right.
Jeez.
Not gonna lie. I am 100% a power gamer, and I am 100%. But I don't. I'm not the guy that wastes the whole football field. I think it's the responsibility of any sheet once you start to get like even mid-range powerful. If you're in a game that has a lot of not even a lot, but has new players, you should be always working with your staff to not just wreck everything, or you have to work with your staff so that everyone still has fun.
mhm.
Like when you're traveling to another game, like like I've had a character for 11 years, and when I would come to a game, STs would be like, I don't know what book this is out of, I've never heard of this, like I know that you brought a write up, but I don't feel comfortable. Like, you have to accept that. You just have to be like, cool, don't take it off my sheet, that's fine. Or if you go into a game and there's a plot and you're an out of towner, you don't come in and just be like, cool, I swing big dicks and I'll take care of your plot. You talk to the STs to see like, hey guys, is it cool if I help with this, or is it cool if I help solve this, or what's going on? That's just the responsibility of any established player.
They big bad that they've been tracking down for like 10 games finally come out super powerful. You come out of nowhere and just be like, haha, gotcha, ho.
Right.
Snuff them out right quick.
Right. Well, I mean, like, Dillion should kind of understand this. He has a Ravdos. You have the potential to just walk in a game and be like, cool, horde reality. There's your problem. It fell over.
Yep. There are a number of things I have on a list that horde reality does not work on. Yep. A lot of those are from old Kenosha, though.
I mean, but that's it. When I brought my big dude, because I brought my big dude to Kenosha, I'm like, what is okay for me to help with, and what do you want me to just fuck right off on?
I'll go walk into the demon house.
Oh, I did not deal with the demon house, no, but I dealt with a guy who existed on all planes of existence simultaneously.
Those exist?
Yeah, I know. I dealt with that guy.
We lost Diamond. Where did we lose Diamond? We lost Diamond.
I think he walked away. Maybe somebody said something to him.
Oh, Jesus. Did he get into a fight already?
I wouldn't assume not. He did not look like he was hostile.
Oh, that's great. The mods are gone. That's beautiful.
Yeah, our wonderful host with the most is gone.
Now we're just going to make fun of him.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's fine, too.
Who else can we criticize? Well, he's back. He's back. All right. Ooh. How you doing? We're going to pretend. Yep, you're here the whole time.
Yeah. Just a glitch in the matrix. So,
Came back.
Diamond, anything else that you notice as a new player that you want to bring up?
What can I say? I guess it goes back to the topic, to the main topic, the hype about like event games and like different events that people tried to do. Like I'm gonna do an example. The Hive Dive. You went to this one, Dillion. You went to the Hive Dive, didn't you?
In Ohio?
The one that we was not the
Indiana,
Ohio one,
the Indiana one.
Indiana.
That was well
done. I feel like it wasn't hyped enough. No offense.
Oh no, it wasn't hyped. I think that was by intent though. That was Central Indiana too. Like that game's in the middle of nowhere, and that shit was on homecoming weekend. Ooh.
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like maybe I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like it kind of wasn't a little bit hyped enough, and the day could have been a little bit better because like you said, it was on homecoming weekend and stuff. A lot of all that traffic and stuff. But I just feel like when I at my game, the one that I started, Rage Across Frankfurt,
Shout out.
it felt it, it felt like nobody wasn't like hyped about Midwinter for real. Like this being like the first Cincinnati Guru game, I'm thinking that everybody's gonna probably like jump on the wagon, like, yeah, we all want to go. But it's like enough people was sold on it. I don't know.
What
Okay.
didn't sell them on it? You were there. Like, what do you see is not coming across? Was it the in-character message? Was it the out-of-character advertising? Like, what didn't strike a chord?
The end character. It had to be the end character. It had to be the end character because even though Silver Claws was like, getting little messages and stuff and all that, nobody didn't really know about it
There's been
until you
more
start
put
talking
out by
about it. And
their
they,
staff, though. Like, all the little events and, like,
yeah,
little messages from spirits and visions and stuff. I've seen more for this
mhm.
event game than any other like that, though. The amount
Yeah. I
of...
just felt.
Oh, go on.
Oh no, my bad. I just felt that like I just felt like Midwinter been doing an awesome job with their stuff. Like, but I just felt like not a lot of people is kind of like working with them to put the urgency out there. Urgency, like nobody. It doesn't feel to people. It doesn't feel like it's a big thing.
Hmm.
Staff is working their ass off and doing all this stuff for people.
The idea of
And
Chernobyl should scare the shit out of characters, but most people don't know. Like, they don't know to know how big this is. Like, just being involved is going to get you rewards socially, at least if you live.
yeah,
Like, if you get through it, you are going to make out. But people don't understand the magnitude of this, I think, maybe, when they hear
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, and I just feel like the STs are doing a fantastic job. It's just the players at this point not knowing. I think some of them not knowing out of character or in character about it, in my opinion. Because like I looked in the book about Chernobyl and stuff, and even in real life stuff, that place is a freaking death trap.
Oh, it's not that bad anymore,
Like,
IRL, man. It's not terrible. You can take pictures. I mean, I hear some good
take
pork. They
pictures
got
before you
boars running
fry.
around. Those got to be tasty, right? Right?
Yeah, radioactive
Radioactive
boars. Yeah.
boys.
So I don't know. The event thing in Indiana, that was not even really an event game to me. That was a game that was holding a mini event and not an event game. You know, an event game is
Yeah,
something
yeah.
to me where you travel, you go there, and you're going to stay a couple nights. That was just a game hosting
Hmm.
a very big, inclusive plot to me. And so those are, by their very nature, just not going to be very big. Because if you travel out there, I mean, it's not going to be multiple days of role play or whatever. And I mean, a lot of people know when you're going to do a hive dive, you're signing up for hours of combat. And so it's
Oh
only
yeah.
gonna draw a certain kind of crowd.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
Yeah,
people
that's
don't,
true.
you're not gonna want to go down there and just like, if you're a guy who RPs his ass off doing political stuff, likely doing a hive dive is going to be a death trap for you and is also going to not be your shtick. So it's going to be less enticing. When you have something like Midwinter, there's going to be politics involved so you can shine. There's going to be investigation. There's going to be combat. There's going to be everything for people to be involved in. So I think it's vastly
Exactly.
different.
Hmm. And yeah, I feel you on that one.
Oh, real
You're
quick,
right
shout
about
outs
that.
for event games before I forget. Beltane's coming up. In addition to Midwinter,
Hmm.
definitely go to Midwinter. Beltane
Hmm.
is a beautiful camping game and fun and fantastic. Like if you're an old player getting back into the org or a new player, it has plots for everybody on every power level. It is an example of
Hmm.
a very balanced event game. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Also, their
it was
prop work
beautiful,
is amazing.
top notch. Yeah, it was beautiful.
And this is not to bag on Midwinter, but it is astounding to me whoever originally thought, hey, let's invite everybody to Milwaukee, Wisconsin in winter.
It's balmy. It's balmy that time of year, I say.
I've been there. It was a sheet of ice one year.
It's so comfortable.
Yeah, if you're a polar bear, I totally agree. I happen to be one, so I fare the elements very well there. But I've seen many a
Nobody
small person be sad.
nobody fares the elements in Milwaukee in mid-January well. No,
Oh,
that
Mm.
is a lie.
you clearly have not seen me there, good sir.
Ah, ah. So, all right. What are the top 3 things we've seen at event games? I guess since top lists are all the rage. What are the
Sure.
top 3 things we've each seen at an event game that cause us to remember said event game and make us like want to tell people about it?
Oh, that's really good.
Diamond, let's have you go first because you haven't taken point on any of these questions yet.
Ah, because I'm the hostess
Ah,
with the mostest.
you are the hostess with the mostest.
Y'all voices, y'all give such good points, you know. But anyways, Beltane, uh,
Go on.
they prompts, they they the way they ran combat.
How was that? What stood out? Like, what about their combat system was good to you? Other than you got to star in it by accident or by intent. That was amazing. Go on.
um, what how they had it in each section, like separated in 3 sections instead of like having it all clumped together into like this big massive combat, and how it was different stages, like how you like the I think the Eldritch horror house like type monster, and how you fought one part of the body and you moved on to the next, fought the other part, then you had to go inside the beast mouth and do damage in there. I like how it was cut up in each section and how the STs was working together and how smoothly it was going, because not it wasn't just one ST working on two, it was about like three, like working on each body part. And like you had like cut up pieces of combat, and then how they was communicating, like saying this is happening, that's happening. I think that it it was ran beautifully, and I like the prompt. I like how they went all they went in on it. It was beautiful.
All right, go for number 2, buddy. You got 3.
Oh yeah,
Ha!
two, uh, Equinox. Um, in any event game that I've went to, except for probably Beltane or so, but I never felt personal with like my character before. But when I was playing Silver Claws, and when my character went with Artemis and his piece, and that character died, like I never felt more immersed in the game and more ready to go ham than ever. It wasn't a whole lot of it wasn't a whole lot of power to, like everybody was like on the same level, but we was dealing with like high level threats, but we all was working together. And I really felt like the little combat system they was running, like how you put your abilities in into like the pot and how it all add together to be able to accomplish a certain task.
That combat
I really
system
felt
was
like that.
really good from what I saw. I wasn't in much of the
it,
combat, but it was good from what I saw from the outside.
it was beautiful. Everybody felt like they was contributing to the like whole thing, and that was amazing. The staff at Equinox, the Chicago staff did a beautiful job, and a shout out to them because it made the whole event made my day, and the role play was good too. The third one is going to have to go to uh, when we had EC at Decatur. Um, the first time that I ever liked it politics was talking to all the head of the factions, and talk and just getting to know their side of view and understanding what war is. That's the only time that I liked it politics, because we was talking about we was having these big discussions, debate, and arguments and stuff, and it was just really good to get into. And you know, I guess that made my taste for Sabat go up a little bit higher, because I felt felt like I was kind of contributing to the conversation, but because I was being a loudmouth. But it felt really good. I really enjoyed it. Third one. Ah, what? Well, I think I already did a third one. That was
You did. You did three.
Yeah.
I was going to let him go for a fourth because this was entertaining. But,
nah, it hasn't been no fourth one yet. It hasn't been no fourth one.
You want to go next?
Absolutely, I can. So, I guess for my third one would be Midwinter. I guess this was the 2015 Midwinter, where the mages and Geru got together to cleanse something, and in the process they also shattered the Red Star. Obviously it was pretty prolific because your characters affected the world in a very meaningful way, but also they were running two very different things. The Geru side, obviously, Geru is like a political game that has very heavy combat overtones. So it was split between two, and so the more combat-y mages could go and assist the Geru with those kinds of things. But then there was also like a more mage side that some of the Geru PCs happened to do. And Jason Place ran it. Was very interesting. It was the group needed to sacrifice X amount of abilities or willpower or energy or whatever for success. So, and then things could happen to like, extra succeed. So it was cool because it was different. It wasn't just like a sacrificing of stuff. It's like, okay, so whoever, contributes to this part, essentially you're sacrificing enough brawl as a group to hold back these flying eyeballs that are attempting to disrupt the people who are doing the process themselves. So like, you're killing things, or it might be, okay, you guys have to get through enough enigmas to figure out what is causing a flux in the energy that's happening. So there was always a story element, but it was, whether it was health levels or willpower or whatever, some person actually, it was 4 people had to volunteer and one of them would just outright die.
I remember that. Yeah.
That was really cool, because it was a different way of doing it. It was faster because there wasn't hours and hours of chops. But there was still that feeling of accomplishment, and there was a lot of people working together and willing to put their sheets on the line. Like there was, one of them was a brand new fresh PC. One of them was my like 2 to 250 point mage. One of them was like a 600 point werewolf. And one of them was someone who was actually Skyping in or something. And he just happened to be the one, because yes, he threw the chops with everybody. We all threw against each other. And he happened to be the one that lost. And so he got a really good like exit story to go with losing his character and furthering what happened. So I thought that was really fun. Let's see here. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Grand Tribunal, but there was a really cool Grand Tribunal in Minnesota one year in the Twin Cities. And for anyone who plays a Tremere who hasn't got to go to one, I would greatly suggest them because there is a point in the evening where you are encouraged to ignore rank and talk to your betters about concerns, opinions. You get a feel for NPCs that you would think are hoary and that you would never be able to approach. They make themselves like they're supposed to be role played. You know, some of them are still like mildly aloof or whatever, but you know, you get to figure out their agendas and you can plan what your character does accordingly to gain favor accordingly. You know, you can find out stuff that, you know, people know about tribunals. If you could lend support or if you could help get your enemy to fail. There's a lot of like trading of favors and stuff. The biggest thing with that, I think, is it's second just because of the M4C portrayals, because they usually find really good people and you get to like have fun insight and role play with really powerful beings that can affect what would be your kindred life and political advancement. My number one would be Ecumenical Council, because I'm not gonna bash. I'm not attempting to bash. But when EC first started, there was a lot more player agency that was involved. In years, there's been, I'm gonna say, more coordinator fiat. But at the very beginning of what EC was, it was a lot of player-driven agency, and what you did really affected things, and what the Council of Bishops and Archbishops voted on really affected things. And there was a step in the right direction the last EC. I don't know if it's the right direction, but there was a step in player agency direction when they took away almost all of the leaders of all of the factions, and PCs, ambitious PCs, were put in their place.
Yeah.
So it's added a very different dynamic level, because, you know, it can't be, it's not some NPC that a sub coordinator can say, sorry, I got lost or buried. I mean, if your PC isn't doing anything, it's your ass, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, there's been a lot of movement and shaking because of that. And there was fallout dealing with the consistory because of that. And there will probably this year, who knows how much agency will be allowed to happen with the PCs. Because, I mean, ultimately, there is going to be, there are NPCs that are trying to establish their own agenda. But, you know, there at some point, they'll either have to be more PCs control and influence over things, or there's going to be a really big to do with the consistory, and that will be fun anyway. So those are mine.
That's fair.
Ooh.
So something I've noticed is that PC death seems to be important, like PC sacrifice seems to be like a huge thing.
I mean,
everybody so far has a PC died and the scene was made ultra real because, you know, there was some actual cost for the events going on.
Sure, I'll agree.
That's something I've noticed. PC death in the org has gone way down.
Yeah, I agree. There's a thing where people have gotten really soft about wanting to put themselves on the line, and at the same time, there's also been a real negative turn towards trying to appeal a death based on technicality or a disagreement on a rules call or whatever BS. And so I feel like it's made STs gun shy. And obviously, if you try to roll someone's PC and they get rezzed on a technicality, they know your plans, whether it's, you know, OOC or IC. It's really difficult for people to distinguish between that, and that has really hurt the org, in my opinion. Go ahead, though.
So as just me just asking this question. So say this. So back in y'all day, how was like how was PvP back in y'all day? Like how was like PvP with like the deaths and all? Was it way up back
Rowdy,
in was people throwing down and like
rowdy.
catching
I would use the
people?
word rowdy.
I don't know. I think I prefer the word wild or the phrase Wild West esque.
Oh wow.
Um, I don't know when I was taught early on, it was people couldn't play consequences. You couldn't blood bond somebody because they wouldn't roleplay being bloodbound.
Oh yeah.
You couldn't boon somebody because they would just try to kill you. So we couldn't play those kinds of games because people wouldn't play them. And so the only recourse was when you fucked up bad enough, we're not going to boon you. We're not going to blood bond you. We're just going to smoke your bags.
Mm.
That's at least in
Because
my
I just
area.
feel because like I feel like I feel like that done slacked up a little bit. I don't know. Just what? Hmm. But speaking about that
Words, you have them.
words, yeah, I have one. I'm just, first time doing this, so trying to stay on top
Oh,
of
it's your
stuff.
first time on camera, right here. This is it.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
I'm sure.
I guess we'll have a closing last discussion right quick before things end right quick. So what
Well,
are y'all end thoughts about? What are you about to say?
I was going to say, I thought our closing thing should really be Dylan posed the question. He still hasn't given his 3 favorite events.
I can give you two.
Oh
I got
yes,
two good
exactly.
ones. I'm having trouble with a
We'll
third
get
because I love
yeah.
event games too much. But
We'll-
go on.
oh no, I was just saying we'll give you the last closing.
This
The
won't
close.
take long. First one would be Conclave 1998 Baltimore, I want to say. Yeah, Baltimore 1998. That was back when NPCs held this sway over PCs without throwing powers around. Like Masako. The word Masako used to inspire such fear, and it doesn't. It won't. Like the Midwinter where the Sabat and the Camarilla hung out together, every PC should have been scared to death that ex Justicar Masako was going to run in there, or some of her Archons were going to show up and dust everybody on the way out. Like that should have been a fear, but nobody remembered. People should have remembered. Their SD should have been like, "Oh yeah, this should happen. You should know these are things." But we have no history, I guess, for Obi when it comes to that. Like there used to be a time that if you got caught talking to a Sabat member as a cami, you'd have gotten dusted. You'd just been dead. There wouldn't have been a trial. There wouldn't have been a huge scene. You just been they show up your game and you're dead. You're just dead.
Well, they try to whitewash over that, in my opinion, because they've been pushing Cam Sabat relations over the last few years incredibly hard, making the console position a thing in one world, and Treaty of Fire, and Treaty of Smoke, and over the last few years, there's just been this really big thing of, hey guys, you don't like each other, but you should totally work together.
Well, everybody hates infernalism, right? Isn't that the draw?
Right.
Everybody hates infernalism now.
Yeah, it's like everybody hates Chris. Everybody hates infernalism.
The second big one would be Beltane last year. Cracking the bone, the absolute risk you are allowed to make as a PC during a regional moot is insane, and the repercussions that came from it in character the next day, the arguments, all that was fantastic. It was I got to scream until my throat was bloody, and it was wonderful. Oh, that was such a good game.
Yeah, I remember that.
I still feel guilty for some of the things I said during that. I was loud. I was loud. And yep, I was loud. But no, those would be my two big ones. Like back in the day, there just seemed to be this authority that was carried by these NPCs, and now it's like everybody's like, earn it. Like, that's what it is now. Everybody's like, earn this respect, even though they should perhaps already have that respect. Like, everybody looks at whatever NPC like, oh yeah, whatever, that's just a sheet I can roll.
Nah, it ain't no roll. Ain't none of that.
See, there you go. To you, it's all just a sheet. You're like, I could kill that. That'll die. If I hit it hard enough, it'll go away.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. With Silverclaw, I may have acted like brave and stuff, but Diamond was shaking in his boots every time I approached somebody. Like
that's good.
Like I just be like, bruh, let's go. And I'll be hoping they be like, nah, you okay? And I'm just like, man, character.
So to lead us out, let's see. Do you think an event game could succeed without like a big violent portion, without a combat-y portion? Like, do you think an event game could be mostly a social thing? I'm not saying just like soft role play, but like no big we need to go blow up a hive plot, but more like a gathering where people maybe hash out their beefs and beat each other up, possibly. It's more
which genre are we talking about?
Well, we all tried to talk at once. So good of us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying which genre. All of them.
I was gonna think more Guru, I guess. Guru works. Guru Mage works.
Oh, not Guru.
We could just call it Thunderdome. We could call the event Thunderdome, and I like this.
Guru is what I have played the least. However, I will say in the past, Midwinter there was no big plot. There was no big combat. If there was combat, it was PCs handling PCs in back rooms, and that's just what it was. So obviously,
that was old Vampire Midwinter. You are 100% correct, sir.
I mean, and it was like that even up until like, I don't know, probably what, 2010, 2009, something like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was still that way. I mean, the Year of Fire and some of the things before that kind of brought in more need for bad guys of the event. But previous to that, I mean, I definitely remember Midwinters with no plot. It was, if you want a plot, you make the plot. STs are here to watch you throw chops for that plot that you do.
Have you ever had an event game like that, Diamond, where you show up and like, you got to make up your own story?
The Gangrel event.
Right.
This year Gangrel event. I kind of liked it. Well, the Gangrel event, I liked it, but I kind of didn't, because I just felt like with my Sabat character showing up with Leon, I started trouble because I couldn't get that taste of combat out my mouth. Like, I had to start trouble. Like, I had to pick a fight or something. So I just picked fights with everybody. Even though if I did get whooped on, I picked a fight with everybody.
Well,
because
I mean,
I couldn't.
The Gangrel event, you're going to have the most combat. Like PC combat, because that's how they resolve it. They go to the circle, hash it out with claws or storytelling or whatever. So, like, that's going to be a combat heavy event put on the PCs any way you cut that.
But with Guru,
I mean, Guru and Gangrel, they're the same thing, right?
yeah, they kind of. I feel like
don't at all acknowledge my position. Don't incriminate yourself any more than you have.
I don't know.
Silverclaw was really a Gangrel, wasn't
he? He probably was. I don't know. All the times that I've been playing like role-playing games, I've always been a combat junkie. I knew I can role-play my butt off if I wanted to. Like, I knew I could be a social butterfly, but like when it came to like throwing down, like that's something that I specialized in. Like
man, you should spec in social
me.
Butterfly as your Galliard. Make it less of a Galliard Arun and more of a Galliard.
Oh, he's good with the social aspect.
No, you should just hyper focus on the social, is what I'm saying. You should be like Ruby Rod off Fifth Element. That's where you should go with that. I bet you could do a great Ruby Rod impression. See, there you go. You got the voice.
We'll see about that. We'll see a Midwinter mostly.
I'm gonna say you're welcome to the organization if he does this, because I feel it will be a wonderful thing, and everybody will have a good time watching it.
Yeah,
I will.
I'll
I
get him
will.
a cane. We'll dye his hair red.
My perspective is my final thing will be, if you want to get the most accolades, likely you should play a combat character. If you want to get the coolest powers, you need to be a social character. At least in Vampire. And if you want to live the longest, play a mental character. That's what you should accentuate. Social dudes will always get the coolest stuff because they're out there socializing, making the deals. The mental guys will always sit in the back, watch and plan and have contingencies, and they'll make it out through most stuff. If you want to get status fast, if you want to get cool stuff, or if you want to get a lot of recognition, you play the combat dudes. That's just how like Vampire has worked for years, in my opinion.
Okay. Well,
hold on. My closing statement is simple. Make one roll by night great again. We all together can make one roll by night great again. Through your support of uncensored and other means of communication, you can make one roll by night great again.
Amen to that, brother man. And this has just
uncensored. There goes the last.
This has just been the first episode of the Gaming Adventures and Lessons of Diamond Welch, featuring two special guests, Dylan Thomas and PJ Dillion.
Woo-hoo.
And y'all all have a good night.
Congratulations, sir. You kept on topic the entire night.
Ha! I did.
You did.
Yeah. So
no dead air.
Peace out.